moved it inside. Good morning, it's a new day. What I think I'm going to do today is I'm going to do some painting on the wrecker. I can't do the front mounting brackets until I get the frame reinforcements, which are coming off of the old cabin chassis. We haven't gotten the truck back here from the shop where it's at so that we can get those off. My plan is to clean it off, throw some paint on it. When the other cabin chassis comes, I can get the frame reinforcements off of that. What I also will do, if I've got time, I'm going to pull the rear seat out, pull the carpet back, and get to the rear cab bolts. Get those out, hopefully they don't break, and then once that's done, I will cut the rear cab mounts off because the frame reinforcement that is on the other cabin chassis already has the mounts on them. They're already measured for the cab. The really cool thing about Ford is the basic cab style was with Ford since from 1999 clear up to 2016. So all of that should be the same. There shouldn't be any difference with that. So that is my plan for today. I hope you enjoy this video. I figured this was a good day for this, so I'm going to take advantage of it and hope that the wind doesn't kick up like it's been the past few days. All right, so because the weather was changing outside, the winds picked up, it started raining, moved it inside. I mean, I'm not trying to make a showpiece. It can still be pretty, but I'd rather just have it functional. And pretty doesn't count when it's not functional. So, all right. This wire is amazing. I always like to keep some of it in the shop. It is heavy gauge. It is fencing wire is what it is. But it's made of it's small, but it's made of a pretty heavy gauge. It's tensile strength anyway. Even though it's just a wire, I've used it to do lots of stuff. Cut me off a few pieces here. Got them roughly all about the same length. Okay. You always want to hang on to this wire because she does have a tendency. She definitely got a mind of her own. Best way to buy this stuff is in bulk. Well, you've always got it on you. And you make a cotter pin out of it. So if you got four-wheeling a lot and stuff like that, something a lot of people don't think about to put in their tool bag is a couple of extra tie rod ends. And I'll tell you why. The most common thing to break on a vehicle is tie rod. They're the weakest link. I've seen people break tie rods before they break drive shafts. You know, the other things to keep in your tool bag is keep a couple of extra U-joints. Because you can do a trail repair on a U-joint. It's not that hard. So anyway, but get a couple tie rod ends. Make sure they're the exact same ones, because I've seen them come where they'll be for this for a certain vehicle, but the tie rod that's on it will be this long, you know, and the tie rod you buy will be this long. But make sure you get it for both sides. Keep a small can of spray paint, pair of side cutters, because they're the best things to use for cotter pins. Some wire, and preferably some good fencing wire or something like that, you know. And of course your wrenches and the hammer. The hammer is so you can get the old tie rod off. And then you take the spray paint, you spray where the old tie rod was, and then loosen it all up. Now you've got it all marked. You know where it belongs. Put the other tie rod back on, put it back into place, and then say, you know, it's typical. Sometimes a cotter pin will break. I've had them break because they get rusted, but I've had them break. So you want to carry some good wire, and then you can make a cotter key. And you don't even have to go out. Let's say you just took and you do all your own repairs, and you just decided, hey, I do a lot of off-roading on this. This tie rod don't seem all that good. So you replace it with a new tie rod end. Keep the old one. Keep it in the vehicle. If it isn't so wore out, if it's just, you know, hey, it needs repaired, it could use a repair, the boot's cut or something like that. That might be the one thing that gets you out of that situation that you're in. So if you've got that old one and you think it's still pretty good, it might be able to get you out of that mess. So throw it in your tool bag. It ain't hurting nothing being in there. If nothing else, it might even help you. All right, so as they say, everything looks better outside. So we will let this dry. I know it's not perfect, it's probably got some runs. But hey, at least it's a color that more or less matches the truck.
Due to the wind, you didn't hear me mention that the toolboxes would be the same color as the cab.
I gotta wait for the paint to dry, and it's out there in the wind, and I don't feel like being out there in the wind. So I decided to take and pull the other part of the project, which is this bumper. This is a very, very heavy bumper. And it poses a great significance to the wrecker itself. And that is to balance the weight. When I first went and picked up the original wrecker, it just had the factory bumper on it and a chrome grill guard. The minute I would hook up to something, well, I wouldn't have any steers. My steers would be just about off the ground. So I found this bumper and I put it on, and after that, I never worried about what I put on the back of the truck. So this is what I'll be working on next. Down below there, I am going to build a winch spot. I think it's perfect. And I am going to use this winch as my pattern. So without any ado, well, I'll get to work on it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is get this screen off and the frame off of it. Like I said, I probably am not going to use this winch. I'll buy a new one. Okay, so it has severely started raining here. But I think, and they're calling for snow. Who knows if it'll change over or not. So what I think I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to hang the bumper on my gantries, and I'm going to bring the truck in. I'm going to pull the bumper off of that, and then try to get this up so I can get a look at what it is I need to do. I know I got to cut some stuff off so I can get the winch to mount right. So I will go ahead and get that started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this forward, and then we'll bring the bumper up to it and see where it sits. Quite an issue here. Okay. I now got the grill off, and I'm going to grab the bolt. I'm just going to get her up there so I can do a bunch of measurements. The problem was the grill. It was sticking out too far. A little too low. So that is a change that we can make. Not a hard change to do. So I've got the bumper temporarily mounted. I'm looking at how it affects the height of the truck, which it doesn't. This is great. The truck doesn't even notice it. So one thing I got to do is got to make certain marks, because I'm going to have to cut this open here. All right. And the reason for that is because getting the winch to fit in there. She's solid. She is one solid bumper. So, off camera, I was trying to measure and figure where I'm going to cut these pieces off at. So, I have come to the conclusion that that's where they're going to get cut off at. I think that looks so much better once it's all done. I always disconnect the batteries just as a precaution. Okay, so off camera, I sat there and I did a bunch of setting up on the side over there. And I like it, and I think that's the point where I'm going to weld it, and then I'll work on the other side. I mean, the whole thing isn't exactly straight anyway, but I'm just trying to make it flow a little better with the body lines. Get a closer look here. Now, she don't have to be perfect, because, I mean, I never built this. I do know the person that did. He threw it together on a ranch, and I got it from him to put on my other wrecker. All right, I will grind that and then put a thicker weld on it. Really starting to take some shape here. I'll finish welding it after I pull it off. Now I've got 9 inches here. And I don't need 9 inches. I only need a little over 6, maybe 6.5, just to be on the safe side. Let's see if I got a good enough sawzall blade. In theory, I should be able to hit it with a hammer. Okay, so I've got this side cut and a lot of water come out. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over. Little plastic squares are kind of worthless. I don't know how. If I was, I mean, the only reason I use them is because it's all I could find. All of my good squares, I know, are all packed away. Okay, there's my lines. So it's got my curiosity. Let's see if we're gaining. Side's off. Side's up. There she is. Look at all that. That's insane. All that mud and sludge. That will work. For sure, for sure. Very nice. So, as I noticed, is this is going to take a little bit more work than previously expected. We've got some real issues going on here. And I've got some new sheeting that I can put on it. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to resheet the front of this. It's already all framed out, but I think I'm going to cut all this bad sheeting off and I'll put some new sheeting on. Like just like the wrecker bed, the bumper's just about a full rebuild. I probably could have fabricated one with all new metal, but it is what it is. It's what I've got, so I'm going to work with it. Maybe sometime down the road, I'll sit there and actually fabricate a real nice bumper. And one thing I did want to show you is I fabricated and built this headache rack about 7 years ago, and it's phenomenal headache rack. But one thing is, I don't like how headache racks, how you can buy them. So I wanted this to flow with the cab, you know, in the cab design, and I didn't want it to be higher than the cab as well. So that's how I built this one. And I may pull it off of that truck, and I may set it up to go on the back of the wrecker here. It's hard to say what I'm going to do. A friend of mine, he called me up and he goes, I should put stacks on it. I don't know. Right now, I just want to get it to where it's operating like it's supposed to. Who knows? I may change my mind and do something a little bit different. That's kind of the cool thing about working out of your own shop and you're doing DIY or whatever. You're building it yourself, you know, and nobody else can copy it. You know, they can copy it, they just can't duplicate it. So, because it's of yours. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys, and I thank you for watching. And stay tuned. We'll be working on more of this stuff. That's what I do. So, take care. Thank you for watching. And if you like the video, please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, drop an email, drop a comment. If there's something you don't like, let me know. If there's something you do like, let me know. I'm new at this. But I'm learning, and I'm thinking about trying out a playlist. You know, I'm still learning. I don't even know how to do a playlist yet. I'm new. But, you know, you can always just watch more. You can watch that one, or you can watch that one.